click it here. I have a gigantor haul for you. All the books I bought in January. Now in January, I attended the world's biggest secondhand book sale. I've been going to this event for years. It happens twice a year in my city and it's put on by Lifeline, and they're a charity that have like a crisis hotline, suicide hotline, that sort of thing. And so much of my bookshelves are just books from Bookfest, which is what it's called. So I went to that. I have stacks of books. Most of the books are from that. I also have a couple of other books that I've picked up and some graphic novels as well. So I'm going to show them all to you and you can silently judge me on my book choices. I'm hoping this year to cut down on the amount of books that I buy. And I think the biggest problem is going to be comic books this year. I feel it because I've already bought so many comic books this year. Although DC Rebirth is responsible for that. First book that I bought was super bittersweet. The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher. I was so heartbroken when I heard the news about Carrie and her mother, because Princess Leia was like one of the staples of my childhood. Carrie Fisher was such an amazing person. I loved watching her in interviews and stuff because she was just so candid. So this is her sort of memoir, and I think it's got excerpts of her diaries from the time that they were filming Star Wars. So I'm looking forward to reading this. I was in one of those all bookstores where all the books are like $3, and I found Spark by Amy Kathleen Ryan. This is a sequel to Glow, which I haven't read, but I have. So I think it's about a girl and a boy and they're on a spaceship. I can't read the back of this one because I haven't read the first one. And the next 3 books that I purchased, I've been waiting for since I saw the covers online. I'm still waiting for the next 3. These are only the first 3, but those are the brand new paperback versions of Skullduggery Pleasant, Playing with Fire, and The Faceless Ones. So in case you're new here, Skullduggery Pleasant is my favorite series of all time. It's by Derek Landy. These designs are by Tom Percival, who did the covers for the original series. I also love that they feature all the characters. Everyone's on the front. We're all having a party on the front. I'm gonna move on. So I literally have a box here of books that I bought from Bookfest. I'm just gonna pull them out at random, so if these are a little nonsensical, in order, deal with it. Sunglasses. Starting on a super cheery note, I picked up Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. This is the book that came before Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal. I have amazingly not seen The Silence of the Lambs. I'm very out of the loop because I knew that I wanted to start with this book. And Stephen King blurbed it, so it must be amazing because trust Steve-O. Speaking of Steve-O, I picked up Blockade Billy. This is like a 130-page short story, novella, short story, whatever. It's about a guy named Blockade Billy who's really good at baseball, and there's some sinister reason as to why that is. I don't know any more than that, but I know that I really enjoy Stephen King's short stories. Picked up John Marsden's South of Darkness. I loved his series Tomorrow When the War Began, which is a young adult series, and it's great. It's about a young boy in London back in the day who got sent to be a convict in Botany Bay. That rhymes. What? I planned it. No, I didn't. So I picked up something rotten. You thought I was saying that I picked up something gross, but I wasn't. But I'm bummed. This is a part of the Thursday Next series. I picked up The Air Affair last Bookfest, I think, and I still haven't read it. So I thought that I'd pick up this one too, because I'll eventually get to it. Eventually, she says. Eventually. I picked up The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. I have wanted to pick up some Maureen Johnson ever since I read Let It Snow. Her story in that is so hilarious. So hilarious. So good. I believe this is a historic fiction set in the time of like Jack the Ripper, and there's a young girl, and that's probably her, and that's probably this Jack the Ripper dude. I know embarrassingly little about this book. I picked up Dead Gorgeous by Mallory Blackman. I actually hadn't heard of this, but I really love Mallory Blackman. But I think it's about a girl whose parents run a hotel, and then it's haunted, and she falls in love with this ghost boy, and I don't even know, that just sounds awesome. We have The House of the Scorpion by Nancy Farmer. I've heard good things about it from other people. I think it's about a guy who was created as like a clone of this dude who is like a criminal guy who runs a criminal activity club. A criminal organization. Anyway, I think this dude wants his own life, so he's trying to nick off, or I don't know, something. I was really excited when I found this next book. That is Jennifer Government by Max Barry. Max Barry is the guy who made that site called Nation States. When I was in high school doing modern history, we went on this website called Nation States, and you had to like try and run a nation, and the choices you made dictated on everything from economy to quality of life. Anyway, this is the guy that made that site. I think he's written a few books, but I think in this one it's like commercialism has just taken over the world, and you kind of identify as a company. The main character's name is Hack Nike because he works for Nike, and that becomes his last name. Somehow he upsets Jennifer Government. She's after him. I was really excited to pick up A Corner of White by Jacqueline Moriarty. Jacqueline Moriarty was at a writers festival last year, and I heard her talking about this book in this world, and it sounded really interesting. I believe it's about a boy and a girl, and they exist in 2 different worlds, but then there's like a crack in the world, and they can like, I don't know, high five and stuff. Picked up The Lux by Anna Godberson. It's sprinked as The OC from 1899, and I love The OC for its ridiculous drama and like things like Gossip Girl. We get to see rich people having problems. Good times. I know there'll be a day where I'm craving that drama. I just want to be the drama llama that I am inside. I'll pick up this series. I picked up All American Girl by Meg Cabot because it's not Bookfest unless I pick up something from Meg Cabot. This is about a girl who saves the president from being assassinated. Apparently, the president has a dashing son, which sounds delightful. This next book I almost didn't pick up because it had this cover. It's called The Luckiest Kids in the World, The Pony Party, book number 1 by Lonnie M. Setnick, which is clearly a parody of a series of unfortunate events and Lemony Snicket. That just sounds like something that looks funny in a picture, but why would you publish a whole book that is a parody of that series? But then I opened it and I discovered that all is not what it seems. And in fact, if you flip over this here dust jacket, it's actually the unauthorized biography of Lemony Snicket. So it looks like a bunch of pictures and like letters and stuff based around this character who is Lemony Snicket. Of course I haven't finished a series of unfortunate events because I haven't finished any series because I'm the worst. But when I do finish it, I will read this book. I finally found the last book in an out-of-print series that I've been collecting, and I got all of the books from Bookfest. And that is Fear the Fantastic, which is book number 6 in this Everworld series. This is by Catherine Applegate, who wrote the Animorph series, which I'm still collecting. So once I finish that series, which I will, I can read this series. I think it's about some characters who are drawn into this like fantasy world they didn't realize existed. And now I can read it because I have all the books. I'm still missing a bunch of books in this series though. This is the Remnant series. This is the 10th book, Lost and Found. I think I'm only missing maybe 3 or 4 books in this series. But again, I bought them all from Bookfest and they're out of print and it's Catherine Applegate. I'm just gonna have a Catherine Applegate party with all my new Catherine Applegate books. And then finally from Bookfest, I picked up some Babysitter Club books because why not? So I got The Little Sister Super Special number 4, The Three Musketeers. Mystery number 15. This one's called Christine the Vampires. Then I found out in 2010, Anne M. Martin wrote a prequel to the Babysitter Club series. It's called The Summer Before, and I now own it thanks to Bookfest. So those are all the Bookfest books that I got. I have some comics now. I'm gonna shoot through those. My local comic book shop have a summer sale every year. And each week they have sales from different publishers. So like one week there'll be Marvel on sale, next week it'll be DC. I picked up Spider Island War Zones by Christos Cage and Tom DeFalco. This is set during the Secret Wars event. So it's in kind of an alternate world and all the characters are completely different and there's Manhattan's been taken over by the Spider Queen. I also picked up the Infinity Gauntlet War Zones by Jerry Duggan and Dustin Weaver. This follows a kid whose family has to team up with Thanos or something. I don't really know, but it looks pretty cool. Looks like we've got some novas happening. And I picked up Runaways Battle World by Noelle Stevenson and Sanford Green. I'm really excited about this because Runaways is like my favorite, guys. They've just announced the cast for the Runaways TV show that Hulu is doing. James Masters is in it. Please make it good, Hulu. But this is again an alternate Runaways, so there's different characters drawn together through Battle World. Someone needs to tell me if they've read this. Do I need to read all of Runaways? Because I still haven't read the collected volumes 4 and 5. I've read the first 3, but I'm not sure if I can read this. Otherwise I'll just wait. It's fine. Those were all Marvel titles. And from Dark Horse's sale, I picked up Dollhouse Epitaphs by a bunch of different people, including Jed Whedon, and obviously Joss Whedon created Dollhouse. It's a TV show with 2 seasons. So Dollhouse is based on this idea that this company can erase people's personality or store their personality and then load them with another personality. They're constantly trying to stop the misuse of this technology and there's glitches in the system and that sort of thing. But at the end of season 1 and at the end of season 2 of the show, there is an episode called Epitaph 1, Epitaph 2, where they shoot forward and the worst case scenario has happened and it's pretty much a dystopian existence. I don't know if this is just those episodes or if it's going on from those episodes, but I'm pretty excited. And I love these episodes because Felicia Day is in them. The rest of the comics that I bought in January were rebirth titles. There were a lot of them. So Trade Volume 1 started coming out and I was really excited and I picked up a bunch of them. So I picked up Green Arrow by Benjamin Percy, Otto Schmidt and Juan Ferreira. I haven't actually read a lot of Green Arrow at all. Apparently this is really good. It's got Black Canary and this is about Oliver realizing that he can't fight the 1% while being and acting like part of the 1%. So that's really interesting because it takes him away from that, oh, he's Batman, but green. I also picked up Volume 1 of Green Lanterns, Rage Planet. This is by Sam Humphries, Robson Rocha, Ethan Van Sciver, and Ed Bennis. I don't know if I pronounced all those names right. There's so many creators on the comic book, and I feel bad for only reading one or two, but there's even more than these guys. I'm not actually going to pick up the main Green Lantern series because I feel like I haven't followed that in a very long time, and I'd be very confused. However, this follows Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz and their new recruits to the Green Lantern, and apparently Jessica Cruz has anxiety, and so it's really interesting having to deal with a character whose whole point of their superpowers is to be fearless, dealing with this stuff, and I think Simon is dealing with some stuff as well. I picked up The Extinction Machines, Volume 1 of the Justice League. This is by Brian Hitch, Tony S. Daniel, Sandu Floria, and Tomo Mori. I'm sorry if I mispronounced those again. But I do enjoy reading the Justice League. Even in New 52, it was the only title that I picked up and loved because there's so many characters that even if you don't like one, there's plenty others there. And it's a really good way for me to get introduced to other characters that I might not be reading their standalone stories. So I'm pretty pumped for that. We have Batman, I Am Gotham by Tom King and David Finch. Looks like there are two heroes trying to help out Batman called Gotham Girl and Gotham Dude, Gotham Boy, Gotham. However, this duo might have gone bad. Batman might actually need to stop them. Who knows what's going on. Then we have Superman Volume 1, Son of Superman by Peter J. Tomasi, Patrick Gleason, Doug Mankey, and Jorge Jimenez. I'm really sorry. This one I was tossing up whether or not to get. I can't really say why because it would be a total major spoiler, but I'm not sure about Superman right now in Rebirth. I don't know how it's gonna go. It's gonna be really interesting. I don't fully 100% understand how they're doing this and how they're gonna do Action Comics. I guess we'll see. That is all of the things that I bought. Far too many things. What do you think of the books that I bought? Have you read any of those? Which ones should I read first? Are you reading any comics like Rebirth? Let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna go and find somewhere for all of these books to go, because the one thing Books Fest doesn't sell is bookshelves. I'm running out of those. So I will see you next time. In the meantime, let me know what your best secondhand book find has been ever. I've officially lost circulation in my foot. Cool.